So I ate like a little kid today, and it was phenomenal. This morning had
Yeah.
a giant bowl of Lucky Charms,
Okay. What kind
and
of
I
milk we going with?
just regular 2%, just a good
Mm-hmm.
old
Mm-hmm.
fashioned the twoper. Then I went out and played golf, and I had a Snickers bar. I had a little bag of goldfish. At the turn, I had an Uncrustable, and then when I came home, I had a nice big old bowl of mac and cheese. So it was
Oh, you're a good little boy, huh?
yeah, it was I was eating like a kid, because who doesn't want to be a kid?
That sounds like a fantastic day, right? I mean, goodness. Like who doesn't want to just eat peanut M&Ms all day every day? I mean, pal, what say you? If you had to pick a candy, a cereal, like what kid food would you pick to start things off?
Um, Reese's Fast Break. You know,
That's a banger.
that's what I go
That's
with.
a
I think
banger.
Patty, you're coming in a little low on my end. Oh, sorry. I should.
Oh, no. That's on me. That's on me for sure.
All right, there we go. You're coming in better. Um, yeah,
That's me.
Reese's Fast Break. But yeah, the M&Ms, not too bad. Not too bad, right?
Yeah, it was nice to be a kid. It really reminds me of Toys R Us. Where a kid can be a kid.
Speaking of
No,
Toys R Us,
absolutely. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. I don't know about y'all.
Welcome back to another episode of Lauer After Hours presents Cinemeh. This is a podcast series where we watch movies that are rated 69% on Rotten Tomatoes or 6.9 stars on IMDb, and we establish if it's worth it. I am at Beep Count, your host tonight, joined by Paddy in the OHIO, and got Pal out in Southern California. What's going on, boys?
How we feeling, boys? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I want to climb the roof.
doing real good.
The ceiling is the roof. On
Yeah.
this episode, we have the 2025 crime comedy drama Roofman. This movie is rated 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the critics 84% from the audience, and gets the magic 6.9 stars on IMDb. This
That's a
movie
roof, man.
it is a Roofman. Wait, it's a duck.
That's a duck. That's a duck, man.
This movie was directed by Derek C. in France. You know him from Blue Valentine, The Light Between Oceans, I Know This Much Is True, and one of my favorites is The Place Beyond the Pines. Have you ever seen that one?
What a
Wow.
classic. Very good.
So
Sad.
good. Yeah, real,
Sad.
real sad.
How
Ma-
for me and the listeners, what say you? Explain it for us?
Place Beyond the Pines. This is the one with, I believe,
Ryan Gosling
Ryan
and Bradley
Gosling, the good
Cooper.
looking one. Bradley Cooper, yeah. So Ryan Gosling is, we gotta check the ratings on this one. Because heist year, right? That we're doing here.
Hmm.
Um, so essentially, Gosling needs some money, so he starts robbing banks, and he has this whole plan with a partner, and then the partner has like days in between that, or that's how they wait so that they don't get caught. And he gets impatient, robs a bank on his own. Uh, Bradley Cooper ends up, shooting him and killing him, and then
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Oh, jinx. All right. Um, and the next thing you know, we see a situation in which, like, fast forward, and Ryan Gosling had this child with Eva Mendes,
What?
um, who now has to take care of the baby on her. I think that's his now wife, right? In real life, like they're together in real life.
Maybe.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyways,
The
um,
more you know.
the more you certainly know, and what ends up ensuing is I believe Bradley Cooper, his son becomes friends with Ryan Gosling's son, some 16 years later, which causes issue because he also like even after the murder, he Ryan Gosling continues to harass Eva Mendes and the family. Sometime not like the 16 years after, but like in between that. But really, really good, really, really entertaining watch. I think it was Oscar nominated.
Maybe.
Shout out the
That's it.
Oscars.
Yeah. This movie stars Channing Tatum as Jeffrey Manchester.
My name is Jeff.
You
Oh,
know
Channing
him from
Tatum.
you know him from The Lost City, Logan Lucky, Magic Mike, and 21 Jump Street. This movie also stars Kirsten Dunst as lead Wayne Scott. You know her from The Power of the Dog, Bring It On, Melancholia, and of course Spider-Man. We've also got Lakeith Stanfield as Steve. You know him from Sorry to Bother You, Judas and the Black Messiah, Knives Out, and Get Out. We've also got Peter Dinklage as Mitch. You know him from The Station Agent, X-Men Days of Future Past, The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Elf, and of course, Game of Thrones. We've also got Ben Mendelsohn as Ron Smith. You know him from Dark Knight Rises, Bloodline, Ready Player One, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This has a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes or 126 minutes Canadian. It's had a budget of $19 million, and it made $23 million in the United States and Canada and just over $34.8 million worldwide. This movie is rated R for language, nudity, and brief sexuality. And you can find it right now streaming on Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus. All right, here comes our favorite part. I've got some taglines. And they're not terrible. But we'll see. He robbed 45 McDonald's, escaped prison, lived inside a toy store. And that's not even the craziest part.
No, that's a solid tagline. And in all things considered, when we really break down what we have had in the years or in episodes past, that's definitely the best one I think we've had. Like since we've restarted the podcast, in my opinion.
I concur on that, young Patrick. I think that's the best tagline that we've had. It makes me want more, right? Because it's the 45 McDonald's and the toy store.
Yeah. And this one is just, it's too on the nose, based on the unbelievable true story of Jeffrey Manchester.
My name is Jeff.
So, it's all right.
Well, 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2 for sure.
Yeah. But it's a lot better than all of the other taglines, except for the one from Captain America, the First Patriot or something like that. I don't even remember it right now, but
The
that
first
one was
soldier.
pretty good.
Or First Avenger.
No, because that was the actual tagline, or that was the
Yeah, that
title
was
of the
name
movie.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
The one that we had from Captain America that was actually good was big fat white face, big fat white face, big fat white face. Oh, when patriots become heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I do have a couple since in
yeah.
the last episode
Let's hear it.
Pal suggested we each make maybe one or two of them. So for this one, I have for the first one, he spent his life breaking in. Now to get his family back, he has to break out.
I like it.
And the other, in my second, the ceiling can't hold him.
The ceiling's the roof.
The roof is on fire.
How do you got one?
I think I've been working on a couple. I was thinking like the one thing this genius can't steal is like some common sense. Or like,
I like it.
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I also had I was trying to think of something with like Toys R Us, right? It's like Thieves R Us. A lot of what kept coming back to is like I did agree a lot with when they were talking about how he was like a genius, but also just a idiot at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a fuck up.
Yeah, just an idiot, just a dumbass. Like a dumb, like Red Foreman level style of dumbass. You know?
Like
Um.
Eric Foreman, right? Like Red Foreman is just us
Oh
as
no,
the
yeah,
as
yeah,
the
yeah. But I'm
viewer.
just saying, like when Red Foreman's talking about you dumbass, he's
Yeah, no,
talking about
yeah, exactly.
Channing
I'm with you
Tatum in
for
this
sure.
movie. Yeah.
He
Um.
he's talking to Hyde, like Channing Tatum is Hyde in this movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Without the rape.
Well, that was the real person, not the character.
Oh, that's what the one thing the one thing this
Yo,
Kanye, the one thing this genius can't outsmart is his own stupidity. I think that's what I was going with.
I like it. Here's one that I had. He wasn't just on the run. He was living rent free.
that's
Ooh.
good. I like that.
It's because
That's
I mean he's living rent free in the cops' heads. He was literally living rent free. So, and then there was one kind of alternate to that was some criminals run. One of them moved in.
yeah. You know what? At the end of the day, I think what we have here is significantly better than every single thing that has ever been said for a tagline in the past. What I don't know, 6 episodes, 7 episodes now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Paramount, Sony, Universal, whatever studio you're working
Hire
for,
us. Hire
Give
us.
us your money.
reach out to us. This is at Beep Count on Twitter, at Paddy from LAH, at Pow underscore Chris Hall. Wait, is there
It's just
another
Pau
score?
Gasol.
Oh yeah, just Pow Chris Hall.
Just
We're
straight
on
Pau
Twitter.
Gasol.
Reach out to us. We can be your tag people. We're your tagmen.
Mhm.
The tagmen.
Mhm.
And we're
Be
better
like-
than AI.
And until
clearly
you
better
do,
what-
we're just gonna
what
keep
you have.
taking these taglines and we're gonna call this rebag lines.
Mm.
All right, because we're rebagging them and we're doing our thing here on Cinemeh. All right,
This is a
just
gag.
yeah, just providing our service to society, making these things more interesting for what they are.
Gag lines or taglines?
Ooh,
Mm. There it is. There's another one. That one was free of charge.
Zagag.
It's the gag lines.
There you
All
go.
Well, I've got a synopsis here.
Synopsis.
Based on an astonishing true story, Roofman follows former Army Ranger Jeffrey Manchester, who becomes known as the Roofman after robbing dozens of McDonald's restaurants by entering through their roofs. After escaping prison, he secretly lives inside a Toys R Us for months while trying to build a new life and falling in love with a single mother, forcing him to choose between redemption and one last score. I'm hooked.
Yeah, no, I mean it's right there. It's exactly what we want. It's exactly what is I mean, it's everything you want in this movie. Like, right? Like you were really buying into this movie for the characters, not necessarily the story on its, face value.
Yeah.
And what you end up falling in love with, I think, when you watch this movie is the story. But what gets you here is really just the actors. So you need to really just know what the actors are doing, and I think this does the job.
Yeah,
What's
I agree. I totally agree. And Patty, this was your selection, so I'm going to come to you first here for the questions. Before watching the movie, had you ever heard of this story? Had you ever heard of Jeffrey Manchester?
No, I actually hadn't, and ironically, the reason that I ended up picking this movie is because because Autumn and I, my girlfriend and I were starting to watch this movie like maybe a couple of months ago, and we ended up just getting sidetracked or ended up leaving the apartment, and I was like, you know what, this is a halfway decent enough movie that I want to end up coming back to it, and then we just never ended up coming back and finishing the movie, and honestly, the biggest reason that we stopped is because we stopped about 30 minutes in and we were just kind of bored. And we were like, all right, let's just living in a Toys R Us. Like, what's really gonna happen here? And when I ended up actually coming back and watching the movie for the podcast, it was actually a really entertaining tale. I'd say the rest of the way there, and when we finally got to especially the scene where Channing Tatum is making Peter Dinklage open up the dye pack in front of its face, and that is absolutely the best scene in the movie for me personally. But yeah, I don't know, pal. What say you? Like, what did you say about the movie? Maybe before you dove into it.
Never heard it. Never heard of it ever. Like up until you brought it up, like that was the first time I'd ever like known it existed. Um, but I think you had a good point when we are talking about the cast, right? So it's just like the fact that they had such a strong cast.
Right?
The it's like when you're talking about like the ceiling, one thing about the ceiling is there's also the floor. Okay, and the floor is just elevated to a certain level to where it's like, okay, at the very least, this isn't going to be a bad movie, just because like the acting in it is going to be good.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Um,
like James Harden, Chris Paul, and Dwight Howard on the Rockets. It's a
but
playoff team for sure.
yeah, I didn't look up anything though. I just went into it completely blind. I was like, it's a true story, okay. And then, you start slowly seeing like the time period you're in, and obviously, I'm a big into nostalgia. Okay, so you got the Blockbuster, even the Toys R Us, private equities, um, victims, if you will. But it was just kind of good to see something of a time, right? So when the movie gets started off, and you kind of see these things in the beginning, you're like, okay, you know more or less where it's kind of set and what time, and then it was just really, the inside of a Toys R Us, they there has to be some way that the company used to design them to look a specific way, but it didn't. They designed they were able to recreate it to a T, and that I think being inside of one that much was like as we say, gentlemen, of a time.
Yeah, for sure. And I had never heard of this story before I started watching this, and I reached out to Crispy, who's from North Carolina, and he barely remembered the story. This is what 20 something years ago now. So just the
Oh,
fact
man,
that
we should have
someone
got him
that
on.
yeah, well, I tried, but um, but it's kind of interesting that someone from the area hadn't really heard about the story. It was kind of like you know oh, is that the one about the guy who broke into the toy store? And that was really about it. And I think what makes this movie really really work is that it's a very story based movie, but it's also character driven as well. And I think those two things in concert really make this a really underrated movie.
Yeah, I'm with you, Beep. I think yeah, I think you're onto something there. It really is underrated in the sense that it's too real to be in actual action or a thriller or even a comedy. But I think when I got all the way through it, I ended up actually just kind of appreciating it as like just a human story and an American story, and in the sense that like we all fuck up, and at the end of the day, we all just kind of want to find a way to make it right, whether or not whether it actually makes sense to everybody, or it just makes sense into this deranged person's specific head. But I think that there's some part of the story I think that everybody can actually kind of really get into, I'd say.
We're gonna award this the Cinemeh, sorry, excuse me, the Cinemeh Pillow Award. All right, because it's slept on. Okay,
Ooh, I like it.
you know. So get your eucalyptus sheets, courtesy of Sheets and Giggles, ready. All right. But yeah, I think so. I can't believe it went this under the radar. Um, but I think that Channing Tatum, he is a comedic actor. Um, Trying to put him into like romantic movies or anything dramatic, I just don't think that suits him. Like putting him in a role where he can be funny and comedic is really good for him. And he does that with this character, but he also plays him in a way where he is kind of crazy. And that kind of plays out in it a little bit too, you know.
Well, I mean, we can get to the trivia at the end, but I think what we ultimately find that he is actually kind of insane. I think at the end, right? Like just because like the story follows us to this point, the following situations I think that happen afterwards at the end kind of uh end up changing my opinion, I'd say, on our protagonist throughout the movie.
A little bit, slightly problematic. Well, on the Channing Tatum, he's played action heroes, dancers, comedians. Where does this performance rank among his best?
It's I mean, it's no 21 or 22 Jump Street for me. I mean, it's no it's probably on the Mount Rushmore, if not like one or two OLI, but like just thinking offhand, I'd say that it has to be on the Mount Rushmore just based on like the difference of that character versus what he's played in every other situation in his entire career, right? Like he's always just been like the hunk like guy that ends up making like one or two jokes throughout the movie, or and ultimately that's really what he ends up becoming like throughout his career up until this movie, I'd say. And ultimately, I think he really knocks it out of the park with it being so much monologue, I'd say. Like he actually is he's really entertaining in those monologue moments when it's just him behind the bikes and he's watching shit. You know what I mean? Like it makes the movie advance in a direction that it doesn't feel stale.
Right. And I think that because he's playing a real character, right? He's playing a real person. I think he had to kind of match the real Jeffrey's thought process, how he actually processed things, and everything that I've kind of read up on this, and watch some YouTube videos on the real Jeffrey Manchester since we started watching this. I think he pretty nailed it. Pretty much nailed it. Did you find yourself
Yeah.
rooting for Jeff despite his crimes? Pal, I'll come to you on this one.
Yeah, I love a good prison break.
Hmm.
But I was with Lakeith Stanfield, right? This dude's leaving way too much of a paper trail. Okay. Like when it comes to like knowing that he's got this situation with this girl, you should always know. All right, and he did get hunkish in this movie. Okay, Kirsten Dunst with like within like the first time of them hanging out and stuff was just like bump the pants pretty much. Okay, she was
Mm-hmm.
Dunst with those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's like, we're gonna make like a Kirsten and get on out of here. All right. But that being said, just a bumbling, a little bit of a bumbling buffoon sometimes. But I think that's what is supposed to happen, because I think if enough people were describing him as somebody that had like a genius level IQ but was just stupid, it's like, okay, you've just met some of those people where it's like I've had friends where it's just like, oh, you get straight, like, how do you just have straight A's on everything? But then like some of the stuff they choose to do in their spare time, you're like, you freaking moron, you know? And that's our good buddy, our good buddy Jed here.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah.
Patty,
What's
what
up,
about
what's
you?
up?
Yeah, I think I think Channing Tatum does the character so much justice in the sense that I end up actually feeling for this character throughout the movie until the end, until I find out, until the post credits. Like, and I'm not, and I don't want to give anything away to like just yet, but like I was actively rooting for this character
Yeah.
throughout the movie, and then I'm like,
Some criminals
oh
kick in
no,
doors. Some wave ceiling tile.
this woman is
Means it was
absolutely
average. He went to high learned rappelling, weapons handling, operating under pressure. None of these.
operating under pressure. I don't know where that was from. Pal, you're muted.
I just
don't know
realized
where
I'm
that came
sharing my
from.
sound. Sorry. I was like, let me look.
I was like,
wanna-
where's that sound? I'm looking at Patty. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was like,
I was like, I don't think I have
that?
anything
Can
open.
they hear that?
I was
My bad.
looking at my screen. I was
No.
looking at this screen.
I
It's like,
just, I was just curious about this, Jeffrey. I was like, well, we're talking about did he really play this guy justice? And all I have to really say is I like the job he did in this movie. So now I'm like trying to figure out, okay, well, what is this guy actually like? Because you guys maybe did a little more research, obviously, than I did on that. So, all right, sorry, Patty.
No, you're good. You guys didn't hear me playing with my soundboard earlier, did you? I turned my mixer down because unfortunately I was using my actual mixer, so I was pressing buttons. I had changed everything and muted everything, so I hope you guys didn't hear that. So I'm sorry, pal, if I was interrupting you as well.
No,
But
you didn't.
regardless,
Just me.
I think that it was a very interesting with how much I actually cared about the character. Like I cared and honestly I think that it's just because it's Channing Tatum at the end of the day that I was rooting for this character to succeed, because even in 22 Jump Street, like Channing Tatum's character is not necessarily redeemable, and yet I still want him to fucking go back to college and be the fucking star tight end or quarterback. I can't remember exactly which position he was playing, but regardless, he was an offensive superstar for Boise State, it looked like. And I wanted him to just go back and do that because I thought it was awesome. And Channing Tatum is incredible, and he's an incredible athlete and actor. And at the end of the day, he seems as charismatic as at least I hope him to be in my head. So I always will end up rooting for him, whether it's in a 22 Jump Street, whether it's him playing this movie or playing this character in the Roofman in this movie, or if it's him on Lip Sync Battle in 2010 against his ex-wife. I'll still end up rooting for him.
was Jeffrey portrayed too sympathetically, or did the movie fairly show, the consequences of his actions?
I think that it did show it too sympathetically, if that makes sense. I do think that the movie does show him way too sympathetic as a character. However, I do think that a lot of I do think that a lot of folks, especially in the United States, have misinterpreted what what his skill set ends up becoming, right? Like I think that a lot of people don't necessarily understand before you get into like the military that they're really going to turn that they might end up turning you just into a weapon, and when they let you go, then you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And unfortunately I think that was the situation that they portrayed for sure. And I don't know necessarily how fair that was. But also I think that, like we've seen in other movies, right? Like at the end of the day, somebody is going to try to take care of their family regardless of what is actually, happening, or what is perceived to be the correct way to go about things, right? They're going to figure out a way to provide for their family one way or the other.
Pal, what about you?
What was
Do
the
you think?
question one more time, Beep?
Yeah. Do you think that Jeffrey was portrayed too sympathetically, or did the movie fairly show the consequences of his actions?
Well, I'm gonna say it fairly showed the consequences of his actions because of the time he was served, right? So it's like even like though they talked about how polite he was and whatnot when it came to like the McDonald's of it all, they really threw the book at him because of locking employees in the freezer. And then obviously because some of the damage that he causes in this one, hitting the security guard and whatnot, he faces those too. But I think that we talk about like, oh, like the way he played this guy is like crazy, all these things. But being, an ex-veteran, sometimes depending on what, this person experienced in some shape or fashion, could have had some, uh, it just could have something on him. But at the same time, too, just from the sound of it, it sounds like this is just always someone who is very book smart, but just cannot keep themselves out of trouble, you know? And at a certain point, you just realize, like, oh, that's how it is. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to criminals and whatnot, um, they come in all shapes and sizes, right? It's never going to be one thing that we always think it's going to be or portray it to be. And in this case, it's like he said, it's like when they have him at the end of the movie, kind of, giving his monologue and whatnot about and telling people when they're like, "Oh, do you ever think about escaping?" And he's like, "No," but then he goes on to show that like, "Oh, he tried two more times."
Right.
And it's just
Yeah.
like he just there's just something inherently that he can't help. But that's just how it always is. He because of whatever mental health issues this person happens to have, um, or and whatnot, he cannot help himself. Right? It's like the number one thing. He just cannot help himself, and it just in the end, it's what ends up getting him. But that's the thing about people. It's just some are very likable. It's just the things that they do aren't okay.
So like the person, but you don't have to like what they do, essentially.
Zagak.
If you didn't know that this was based on a true story, would you have believed it?
Yeah, I did. I did. I kind of did throughout because I missed the opening scene where it said like, this is based on a true story. I think so. I really didn't understand that it was real until the
Okay.
post credits, and and throughout the movie, I was like, well, this seems a little real, but like Peter Dinklage being the manager of the Toys R Us that is leading the nation in theft seemed to not necessarily I check my boxes as a critique, but I'd say yeah, I was generally believing this outside of most of or outside of some small details out here and there.
Well, Patty, I'll stay with you here for the second part of this question. What scene had you saying that there's no way possible that this actually happened?
I would say the dwarf opening the the safe and having to take out the dye pack and Channing Tatum saying that it wouldn't explode and then it exploding in his face. That was certainly my golden dumpster, so to speak. That was easily I replayed that maybe once or twice just because of how funny and how much it actually did take me off guard where Channing Tatum's like, oh, it's not gonna it won't explode. That's just a myth. And
Pop.
then it just pops in his face.
Yeah. Pal, I'll go
But,
back
yeah.
to you for that previous question.
Sorry, what was the question one more time, Beep?
If you didn't know that this was based on a true story, would you
Oh, yeah.
have believed it?
Yeah, I would have. Because I think it's a realistic thing where I think we've all had the thought of like if you like ran away from home or there's some kind of zombie apocalypse, like you're gonna post up in some sort of store, right? It's gonna have
Sure.
food, it's gonna have supplies. Um, but yeah, long story short, very believable. I watch Love After Lockup a lot too. It's this reality television show about just like, people who get out of prison and they're already in relationships, they're dating people and whatnot. And like everything with Kirsten Dunst is like super believable. Um, but yeah, I thought there was nothing about this movie that I felt was like, oh, that's, come on. Because the thing is when they're explaining that he's a genius, but he's an idiot, it all just fits perfectly. I know I keep going back to that, but it's just like, it's just essential to know like, oh, that's clever. And then why the hell is he doing that? Like it's just a constant back and forth of it. It's almost kind of like Nathan. He's almost like Nathan for you as a person, right?
Yes.
Someone who has a business degree, who gives all this advice, and it's like, is it necessarily good advice? Like it is business advice, but you know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Was there a scene in the movie that had you saying that there's no way this actually happened?
No, I believed it all.
Fair enough.
Even
Yeah,
the like,
everything
even the
was-
showering and stuff too, because it's just like, yeah, he's dumb. Like,
Yeah.
why would you choose to do that at that time? You should be showering immediately after the store closes up every night. Like,
Yeah,
not in the morning,
exactly.
idiot.
Like you should be showering at best at like an hour after the store closes, and then you don't appear again after that shower, and you grab your late night snacks and Dave's food for the next fucking day until they close again the next night. Like, what type of fucking? I understand you're bored, sir, but you're in a Toys R Us. You can fucking rent you can buy the goddamn movies yourself and then put them back into your place. You're fine. Just get your own entertainment. You don't need like he was doing that shit just for the thrill of it. It felt like at a certain point, like getting caught because you decided to shower too early in the morning because maybe you woke up too late, mother. Then guess what, sir? You don't get to take your sink shower.
Yeah.
You have to you have to smell until you get to go to your girlfriend's house that also works at that Toys R Us and use her shower the next day.
You got to be a stinky boy. What sequence of the movie was the most suspenseful? And I've got my answer, so I'll go ahead and filibuster here. When he's breaking into the thrift store and goes into the tanning salon instead, and then has to break through that wall, and then he can't get out. Like I was like, oh no, he's going to get caught right here, right now. So
I like that. The only alternative I would say would be when he is breaking or trying to break away from the initial raid on his new house.
Yeah.
With his daughter there, his the mariachi band and him trying to like jump the fence and shit, and then like easily being caught and like within like 20 steps. I thought that was pretty suspenseful and hilarious.
Pat,
For
what
me,
about you?
it was when he visited the church for the first time.
Oh, good
Like,
job.
what are you
Okay.
doing showing your face that much?
Yeah.
And the entire time I'm just like, you're just like there's
Just
gonna be
going to
somebody
Red
who's gonna
Lobsters.
recognize you at some point in time, but also just the whole ending scene where he's robbing the Toys R Us, which was just another thing that was just very, very dumb. Right? When they talk about don't shit where you eat, and he's trying to talk to Lakeith Stanfield about like, oh, maybe I could stick around for a little while. Where, dude? You burned your home. Like you would
Yep.
think as somebody who's robbed all these places, like if the Toys R Us is home base, first of all, you don't like clean up the inventory to the point where you're making a size like just super noticeable. But at the same time too, like all of these, I thought what was gonna happen was all of these, I like a lot of the video games and certain things that he was taking that he was giving to Kirsten Dunst's girls. I was like, they're gonna think that she's stealing all this shit. I
Yeah.
thought that she was gonna get in trouble and blamed, and they were gonna blame her for all of that going missing. Um,
Well, but Peter Dinklage is an ally. We
yeah.
saw that throughout the movie. He never blamed her one time.
Our, our friend there, also just the shower thing, I would say as well. It still bothers me because it's just like I just don't know. It's like why are those clothes even hanging at that time of day anyways? Like just
Yep.
idiot, 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 idiot. And the fact that he kept just like after that happened, it's like if you're gonna choose to stay in the Toys R Us, I just don't know what he was trying to think about, like in any way, shape, or form that he could stick around. He knew he had to get out of the country, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't understand what his thought process was on kind of hanging around and hanging around and hanging around. I mean, I get it. He's in love. He loves Lee Wayne-Scott. He loves her daughters. But at some point, you have to go back to that realization. Oh, hey, I'm still a wanted felon. I broke out of prison 5 months ago. The Heat's, yeah, they may not be saying anything about it right now, but I'm still a wanted felon, literally wanted felon. So the fact that he didn't just get out at that moment, that I don't get where he was thinking about on that.
It just it breaks my brain. It really does because he was home free. Like he really was. He was able to legitimately just start a new life in a new continent. Nobody would know who he was, where
No
he
extradition.
went. But no, this woman and her daughters. It seems like based on how quickly this man fell for that woman, it seems to me that he would have been able to rebuild his fucking love life in a new country quickly.
Yeah. Where does Roofman rank among recent true crime films?
Like including true crime documentaries or just true crime films.
I think like based on a true story, similar to this one.
It's
It's no
I would say that it's up there just because of how realistic it is.
yeah.
Right? It's not always going to be something where it's kind of nice to have something where it's not, you know, large swaths of like violence and murder taking place and whatnot, and just to kind of have something that's a different level of crime was refreshing.
Yeah, like what's that Zach Galifianakis and Kristen Wiig like bank robbery or like they rob like the Brinks truck or whatever movie like that. It feels like a darker version of that type of movie in the sense that where instead of like Zach Galifianakis, like being rich, and Channing Tatum is living inside of a Toys R Us, and he's an actual like war hero, but also turned criminal instead of like just an absolute dipshit that just tries to drive a money truck around and so like I would say that it's on par with like that, but a darker version in the sense of that Jake Gyllenhaal movie where he supposedly kills his wife. Like I'd say it's somewhere between the two, where it's not necessarily like a thriller, but it's not necessarily like a full-fledged comedy either.
Yeah, the movie you're talking about was Masterminds. And unfortunately, it doesn't qualify for us.
That's a damn shame. Damn
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson, Kristen Wiig, and Jason Sudeikis.
It's so damn funny. I love that movie so much.
Anything that we missed in this one? Anything
I
that
mean,
we
there's the
haven't
whole
talked
Kirsten
about?
Dunst side of it, but it's just like that's the thing. Like he explains at the end of the movie how like you know behaving the way he does doesn't just affect his life; it like affects everybody else's life in it, and it's just like that's the part of the movie where it's just the most cringe. Or it's like, the
Yeah.
embarrassing stuff for his daughter and then having to like argue with her on the phone and then um consistently just being selfish like all the time. And it's just like he's doing all these things to like be likable and like come across as like cool and stuff and it's just like you're going to have to leave these people high and dry in some shape or form. Like but he doesn't think about that cuz he's dumb, you know.
Yeah, think about that.
Well, I don't know if just dumb is the reason, but selfish could be absolutely part
Oh,
of it.
just absolutely selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
a
it's
huge,
very
that's a huge
selfish.
thing like wrapped up into it. And
But dumb fits too.
yeah, but it's just it's so short-sighted because it's just like oh my gosh, like time and time again we just see him doing these things and I'm like okay, well, the whole car thing and speeding in the car and whatnot, and then I don't know, but it's also like on
He just
Kirsten Dunst too to be like this seems too good to be true. Um, like come on, you gotta look into this at like some part of it, like be kind of realize it because he was able to just easily just lie, and they weren't even good lies.
Yeah. I'm with the government. I'm in intelligence, but I can't tell you anything about it. Okay, buddy. I've used that line before, on a girl at the bar, but
You know what?
I,
Actually,
I didn't have the looks of Channing Tatum, so
thinking about when this movie was
I
set and
haven't.
the place and time this movie was set, which was like 99, 2000, that was a big thing back around that time, right? Like, oh, I'm with the FBI, I'm with the CIA, I can't talk about it.
yeah.
But all I need you to know is this is my government issued hotel room key, and I think I need you to meet me. Right? Something like that.
It's not like Kirsten Dunst could have just Googled it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, it
Mhm.
was like
That's what that's what I
2009.
kept thinking the entire time. I'm like, man, her girls can't Google him and like find out anything about him at all.
Mhm.
He's waited out the news story, so it's like it's not like it's in circulation anymore, and his face is in circulation anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm with you, Beep, on that.
A lot easier to commit crimes back in the 90s,
Man,
early
if
2000s.
only I had been born 10 years earlier,
Mm.
could have committed so many crimes when I was 5.
All right, should we get into our side character MVP or Femeke?
Let's do side characters.
All right. Pal, who's your side character MVP?
Uh, it's Dinklage.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him. Made me laugh a lot. He played the character very, very well.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, situation where you see a naked man too, and it's not just that. It's like, I'm sure being a little person like Dinklage is, and then it's not just like it's a naked person. It's also a naked person who's also in shape because they all keep like pointing out in the movie how like how built he is, which I'm sure you'll get to in the trivia because it's one thing I had noticed here. Um, but yeah, so like him freaking out with that, and then with like the dye pack, was really good, and just kind of being an asshole manager, or a retail store. He did a good job portraying that.
Yeah.
So that's my side character MVP. It's gonna go to him because there's a lot of people in this movie that are just too dumb, too stupid. Like even Lakeith Stanfield, like if or I don't know if his wife or his girlfriend or whatever the character was relaying information back to him about like Uncle whatever's calling her, but he was smart enough to know, oh, that shit's probably Channing Tatum. Like, no, stop. Like the minute you hear that shit, hang up.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna get my ass in trouble because he's stupid. He knew he was stupid too. He'd been talking about the whole movie how stupid he was, and he trusted him.
Oh, facts.
He's a stupid
Yeah.
one now.
Stop
It-
filling
it-
up that pool. No one's getting in.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Patty, who was
No,
your side character MVP?
it was going to be that character's girlfriend right there, but I can't remember her character's name at the moment, but I do think I'm gonna end up going with Peter Dinklage because of how much I love the scenes that he was in. It didn't matter if he was talking to the 20-year-old fucking assistant manager that he was like big dicking around or whatever, or it didn't matter if he was talking to the Kirsten Dunst's character and saying, "Oh no, you're not gonna have these days off because you decided to have a job, so you have to work this part-time job at these hours that you said that you couldn't work when you signed up to do the job." And instead, I did very much also like I rewatched the scene of him getting hit in the face with the dye pack so much that I went ahead and created my own GIF of it. And then I realized afterwards that there was a GIF of it already on a specific GIF that search that I have, but not like the Giphy one or whatever on the iMessage app.
Yeah. The girlfriend was played by Juno Temple, and you know her from Ted Lasso. Yeah. My side character MVP is going to be Lakeith Stanfield, Steve. Trying to talk some sense in him, but then also getting away with $50,000 for forged documents. I mean, I'll take 50 sacks, please. Yeah. All right, let's get into our. Should we do Femeke or Pow? Do you have a top 10 list for us?
Well, actually, it's a top 27 list.
Whoa.
But it's honestly just from the summer of 1999. It's a BuzzFeed article. I'll go through it pretty quickly here. Do you have a fanfare? Do you want me to provide fanfare?
I've got some, but I think because
Hang on,
this is your
I might have
segment.
fanfare.
I think because this is your segment, we'll do your fanfare.
Oh, that's what's happening. Let me just make sure I have it good to go. Okay,
There we go.
there we go.
And now time for Pow's top 10 list, which this week is a top 27 list.
At 27, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace is released in theaters. At 26, we have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let me see. 25, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater makes its debut. 24, Renee Russo started a huge trend with her hairstyle in the Thomas Crown Affair. 23, Destiny's Child, Bills, and Jennifer Lopez debut single, If You Had My Love, big songs of the summer. Christina Aguilera released her debut single, Genie in a Bottle, at 22. Sorry, I'm trying to speed this up a little bit here. At 21... The Backstreet Boys released I Want It That Way. 20, we're keeping the music going. Lit put out My Own Worst Enemy. At 19, American Pie. At number 18, Angelina Jolie was an up-and-coming actress and was on Rolling Stone's annual Hot List issue. I don't know why that's 19. Kind of a weak 19 BuzzFeed. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire premiered. That's number 17. Shout out to Mike Schur and his father-in-law, Regis. Number 16, John F. Kennedy and his wife Carolyn, and his sister-in-law Lauren Bassett all perish in a plane crash. I'm just gonna save the laughter and learn my lesson from last week on that one. George Bush announces he's running for president at 15. Napster is launched at number 14. Number 13, dial-up internet was still very much the norm. AOL was one of the leaders in that case. Apple releases its iBook that everybody wanted. So, that cool laptop that essentially Elle Woods has in Legally Blonde. That's the one. Okay. The Blair Witch Project is coming in at number 11. There we go. Barrett, thank you. At number 10, this friend of ours sees, or he's not a friend of ours. I wish he was. Friend of ours in all our hearts, but Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense, right? Seeing dead people. Doug and the Nanny both ended their runs on TV in the summer of 1999. Sad. The second season of Sex and the City premiered during the summer of 1999. MTV begins airing its 8th season of The Real World, set in Hawaii, during the summer of 1999. That's at number 7. Number 6, more Phantom Menace toys were the hottest merch collectible that summer. I don't know why that's also coming in again and later down this line. It should have just been grouped in with it to begin with.
Shout out Jar Jar Binks.
Number 5, Will Smith performing Wild Wild West with a surprise guest Stevie Wonder. Hello. Number 4, Lisa Kudrow hosts the 1999 MTV Music Video Awards. For whatever reason, that's number 4. Number 3, Disney releases Tarzan in theaters. The film would mark the end of the Disney Renaissance era, but I have no idea why they're not mentioning the soundtrack being like, if they're going to talk about music in the summer of 1999. Hello, Phil Collins, yo. Number 2, Britney Spears is considered too sexy with her Rolling Stone article cover. And then at number 1, SpongeBob SquarePants made his debut.
Man, we killed that shit.
And
that
thank you,
is
pal.
Pal's pop culture list of the decade for the movie that we're watching. So this one, I know the movie came out in 2025, but I looked up when he was committing these crimes and settled on the year of 1999. So if you're wondering why I chose that as the time period, I felt like it would be a little bit more fun if we did that rather than the year that we all just experienced.
I like it. I'm with it.
I like it. That was good. No, that was good.
I say we save the. I think it's a little difficult to get anybody on this cast, right? Because even though Kirsten Dunst not happy about the red flag that she should have noticed, she did a great job in this movie.
I'm going to Ken Mitch because as a leader, as a store manager, that's not how you treat your employees. And the fact that you got the dye pack in the face, you had it coming.
It was worth it. It made it so much more worth it knowing that he was an asshole the entire movie. I was like, the entire movie, I'm like, oh my God, this guy. I just need I need him to just get some actual form of justice that isn't Channing Tatum changing the schedule without him knowing. And finally, I'm with you. It was fantastic to see him just take the dye pack to the face.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our ratings here. Again, if this is your first time, we have it's one of my favorites. I'll watch it. Every time it's on. Meh, it was just okay. Once is probably enough, and then get all the way the hell out of here with this movie. So, Paddy, this was your selection. How say you? Yeah, meh, or feh?
Yeah, I was very interested. The reason I picked this, like I said in the last episode, was because I wanted us to all kind of go into an episode fresh, and not necessarily know what we were kind of watching or maybe reviewing in the sense before we go through it. And I think that we ended up getting a pretty solid episode out of this. And at the end of the day, I think that if this movie is on, I'm certainly gonna stop and watch it. If it's on TBS or TNT, and I'm just flipping through channels and I got time to kill, for sure, this is a movie I would absolutely stop on. So I'm gonna say yeah, just because of how entertaining that it is and how fantastic the story is with the man that is actually just living behind the bikes in the Toys R Us in like the year 2003. It's pretty fantastic, actually.
All right, that's a yeah from Paddy. Pal, how say you? Yeah, meh, or feh?
You know, pleasant surprise of a film. Happy I saw it. Okay, wasn't a waste of time. But I don't see myself going back and watching it again. I've seen it, you know? So this is gonna get a meh from old Palski here.
Okay.
All right, we're going a meh to binds. All right, so that's my choice. I'm settling on the meh side of things.
Menda Bynes and Channing Tatum, and She's the Man. There you go.
She's the meh.
For me, it's going to be a yeah. I love this movie. It was fantastic. I had not heard about the story before I watched it, and I've watched it 3 times now. Once was just the original watching, and then the other 2 were just to kind of catch up on things. But I was entertained every single time I watched it. So this is going to be a strong yeah from the beeper.
There you go, Beef. I wasn't sure you were gonna
Yeah.
like this one.
I
hasn't been.
really
You
enjoyed
haven't-
it.
You have been the least likely to a movie so far, so I'm a little surprised about this, but I like it.
I really liked it. I Channing Tatum was great in the movie, and I think that the character development throughout the story was really well done, and the fact that it is based on a true story that has a little bit of weight for me.
There we go.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
That kind of
there was only 2 pieces of trivia that I really wanted to bring. So this is kind of just the postscript here. So the truck driver that Jeffrey Manchester befriends is played by Charles Cummings, who was the true life truck driver who unwittingly assisted Manchester's escape. Cummings is also seen in an interview clip in the post credits. And one more here. Channing Tatum underwent a substantial weight loss regimen to portray Jeffrey Manchester in this film, resulting in a weight of 172 pounds. The intentional 70-pound weight loss garnered concern among the cast and crew. And then this last one here, Jeffrey Manchester is incarcerated at Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina. His expected release date is December 4th, 2036. So he still's got 10 years to go in the pen.
Hey, that's what I'm
name is
talking
Jeff.
about.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's
but-
I think it's my
Well-
selection for the next movie.
No, it absolutely is. But before we get to that, just real quick, I know that Pal, you said you mentioned it earlier when I was kind of alluding to it, and I didn't necessarily want to spoil it. But this man tried to fucking escape another 3 times, I believe that it was, from like the time that this like the point of the movie of him getting caught again and going back to prison. He has then tried to make another 3 escapes and then claims that he's not going to make any more after making that claim, after immediately after the events of this movie. He then makes that claim that he's not going to try to escape anymore, and then tries to do it 3 more fucking times. What are we doing? Like that's why I turn on this man completely in this movie. But it ultimately is also why I'll stop on this movie every single time. But Beep, it is your choice. So please.
So we've talked about this character before, and he's part of my heist crew. We're gonna go to the IMF. We're going to Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible 3. And you can find it right now on Cinephobe's favorite channel right now, Pluto TV.
It's not on Paramount anymore. They used to have all of them on Paramount.
I think all of them are now on Pluto TV, or at least most of them. And also shout out AO, because apparently we're just doing Cinephobe.
That's right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, this has been at Beep Count on Twitter, joined by Paddy in the OHIO, and got Pal out in Southern California. Hey, if you ever want to go hide out in a Toys R Us, that's where a kid can be a kid. We'll talk to you next time.